About 10 years ago, I came to Pittsburgh and I thought it was for work. I ended up finding the kind of stillness that changed my life. On a dance floor during Roots Pride, I broke down crying. A man named Michael David Battle, a black trans leader, held space for me like no one ever had. He didn't need all the words, he just knew. And in that moment, I began to heal. Not because I had the right diagnosis or the right therapy, but because I had permission to pause and be held. Healing happens when we allow ourselves to pause. Pause gives care partners room to be human. Most care partners don't need more instructions. They need more permission. Permission to grieve, permission to be scared, permission to not have the answers, permission to pause. Whenever I return to a city that I've experienced pilgrimage and learned a new version of myself, which Pittsburgh is one of those cities, I go and I revisit my memories. And I do this by talking to someone who currently lives in that place. When I did that, I remembered about Braddock and the stories that come out of Braddock around environmental racism, around being desperately ill because of toxic choices that someone else made, while simultaneously cultivating a space that doesn't judge, a space that has a kind of quiet acceptance. That space is the healing pause, a space with no one trying to fix, just seeing, and that being enough to survive. Healing happens when we allow ourselves to pause. Pause helps us rebuild identity after crisis. Whether it's after a stroke, after a trauma, after a transition, we're not the same. That old self isn't coming back. And a new one is being born. And birth requires stillness. I teach people how to listen in the silence. I teach people pause practice. We use tea, we use breath, we use discipline, we use plant medicine, because the body holds grief. And when we pause, the body starts to speak. My own chronic illness journey, my own journey to heal through domestic violence, to heal through environmental racism, to heal through systemic oppression, those journeys brought me back to the plants. Tulsi held me through pharmaceutical withdrawal, and that's when I learned healing isn't always loud. It isn't always loud. Sometimes healing is just the pause of a sip of tea, the pause of a breath, the pause of a beat of quiet. Healing happens when we allow ourselves to what? Pause. Pause helps systems see what care really requires. As a healthcare equity advocate, my work spans across policy, healthcare, user experience research, philanthropy, community organizing, nonprofit work, and in that work, I've raised millions of dollars for systems change. That work has also saved billions, with a B, billions of dollars to the U.S. government. But the most powerful change always started when someone slowed down enough to ask, "What do you need?" and actually mean it. You're here because you care, but real equity doesn't come from more tools or from training alone. It comes from the pause, from staying long enough to hear someone's full story. It comes from seeing the care partner, not just the stroke survivor. It comes from recognizing that silence, too, can be medicine. Healing happens when we allow ourselves to pause. Pause isn't weakness, it's wisdom. Pause is where the healing lives. Pause is where we remember who we are, who we've been, and who we're becoming. Pause is where we make time to enjoy the sunrise, where we make time to feel the breeze on our skin, where we make time to see each other. If today called something awaken you, let it stay with you. Let it breathe. Let it heal you.